How's it going, guys? Indiana John here. Today I'm going to be doing just a little review on the channel Petrel by Maxace. So first couple impressions would be some of the first things I noticed about it was the fact that the handles are pretty thin. They're substantially smaller than what's become more of a standard. Let's see if I can get it out. This guy. I don't know if you can really see. So even the Banshee is a little bit on the smaller side, and that's still bigger. So the ends of the handles on the Petrel are right about on the same size as that of a 51, but on a much larger knife. So that makes it a little bit funky to get used to right off, but it doesn't really affect too much once you're used to it, but it makes more of a, it has more of a learning curve to it. Let's see, it is on tang pins, and they're threaded tang pins, so I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a little bit of rattle. So they're a little bit tricky to tighten because there isn't any way of grabbing them. And it is on floating washer bushings. So for those of you who don't know what that is where the bushing, which is a little tube that goes in the blade, so that when you tighten down the pivot screws, when you tighten them down, it pinches the little tube because it's longer than the thickness of the blade. So with floating washer bushings, the inside hole of the washer is bigger than the bushing. So the bushing goes all the way from this side all the way to this side, versus typically in a bally, the bushing is pinched between the washers. But on this and a couple other knives, the bushing is pinched between the handles, and the washers are just floating around it. So I don't know, it seems like it should last longer, because the bushings are against a harder material, the titanium handles, as opposed to bronze phosphorus washers. But it makes troubleshooting and tuning a lot trickier, because you're not just dealing with the thickness of the bushing and the blade, you're also dealing with the thickness of each of the washers, the bushing, the blade, and the gap between the handles, because they're channel. That's one of the issues that I have with doing bushings in a channel knife, is that gap has to be dead on perfect. With a sandwich bally, you can just tighten it and it, you know, they just move around, but here it has to be totally parallel and the right width. And you know, overall it's pretty close to right on. It doesn't have any tap. This one doesn't. But if it develops tap, it just is a real pain to try to fix. And it does have play, but yeah, so that's my gripe about the bushings. I kind of would have preferred bearings in this guy. I don't know, it's just tricky. What would have been perfect would have been pinch washer or normal bushings. That would be optimal. Yeah, so that's a little gripe I got. Some of the things that I do like about it are the handle milling. The slot long ways there kind of lets the handles be a little bit springier, and I think it sounds better because of that. Another little issue that it has is I mentioned this in the unboxing videos, the little crest of the top fin on there comes in contact with the inside of the channel. So you can hear it clapping. And that's kind of a big turnoff because the sound is just, you know, a huge portion of how much I like a knife. Sound, balance, and, you know, feel. Tolerance is another big part, but you know, I just like stuff to sound nice and feel nice. Let's see. So I think the price range of these is anywhere from I think I saw a modded sandwich one for $200, but I think these typically go for upwards around $350, so it varies because there's not a lot of demand. They're not super popular, and I think it's primarily because of the size of the ends of the handles. It's just pretty small. Stupid sharp. I think it's got M390 for a blade steel. Yeah. Yep. And let's see. I think that's all I've got to say about it. So I would definitely recommend it, but just know, you know, I like people to know what they're getting before they get it, because you can't always just walk up to the store and, you know, peruse their $300+ Balisong selection before copping. So I think, you know, reviews are definitely helpful. So if you got any requests for reviews of knives that you know that I have, or knives that you think I should get, drop those in the comments and I'll see what I can trade around for. Speaking of trading, this is actually going to be the first time I've ever done a three-way trade. So I'm sending this guy to Gavin, and Gavin is sending an alt rep down to Chewy, and Chewy is sending a Bowie Omim up to me. So I think everybody's gonna win, so that'll be kind of neat. 3 totally different knives, different makers, different constructions and styles and stuff. Yeah, floating washer bushings for pinch washer bushings for bearings, and hidden Zen pin, normal Zen pin, tang pin. Quite a variety.